everybody, and welcome to Viking Homesteading. This was not planned to be the first video that we released, but due to some issues with the other ones, this is where we're at for our first video. What we're going to be making today is a blueberry hibiscus mead. So I have hibiscus tea and I went with frozen blueberries due to the fact that the channel I watched the most that attempted to make something similar to this actually used dehydrated blueberries, and they had some issues with it. So I went ahead and went with frozen. We're using 12 ounces of frozen blueberries, 4 ounces of hibiscus flower that was steeped for about an hour in hot water, in about a half a gallon of hot water. Obviously it has gone down quite a bit because I was using a half-gallon pitcher, and that 4 ounces of hibiscus took up some space. We're using a beautiful, beautiful honey that we got from some friends of ours. Their family member has a apiary down in Florida. So I'll go ahead and see if I can plug that. This has been sitting in sanitizer to go ahead and get nice and warm. But really great. We've tried it here at the house and we really liked it. Everything has been sanitized in Star San. In fact, I have one thing that's still sitting here that can be taken out. And then everything's sitting here on a towel that's now sanitized due to the amount of Star San solution that's getting into it. What we're using for yeast is Lalvin 71B. I have about 3/4 of a packet here, is what I would guess is left in this one that we'll be using. And we may be using a cinnamon stick. I haven't quite decided, so it is sitting out. And we're going to be making about a gallon. Now this is a 2-gallon fermenter, but we are going to be making a gallon of mead, so there's that. The reason I went with the 2-gallon is because I want to get as close to a gallon as possible, and obviously the blueberries are going to take up space, and yeah, so I went ahead and went with this. Let's go ahead and crack this honey and get it going in here. So hopefully this goes in nice and easy. This entire thing was put into the Star San, so I'm not really concerned about anything touching or anything like that. Alright. By the way, this is 3 pounds of honey. I could have taken the bow off. This is actually what my birthday present was from our friends, because they know I like to brew. So this is what they gave me for my birthday, and we will get some warm water in here and mix that up here in just a second. Try and get it to stop dripping first, if we can. Good enough. And we'll set this over here to the side. So you guys might not be able to quite see, but that's up to here where my finger is. So obviously that took up some space. Next, what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and pop this, and we're going to put it in here. This is the hibiscus tea. Lovely sounds. Okay. Go ahead, pop that. Cap that back now. Set it over here. Alright. Now this one's going to be a lot colder because this was put in the fridge, because I actually brewed this a couple days ago. I meant to do this video sooner. So this is really cold. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to get it in there as well, and attempt not to get a bunch of hibiscus all over my Star San soaked towel here. And we're going to slosh that a little bit. Yeah, okay, so we will be needing warm water, which I have in a vodka bottle. The only thing this has had in it was vodka, so it's just hot water now. Oops, that is slopping a lot. We're going to try and pour that a little bit nicer. And if we need more hot water, I will get more hot water. I am trying to do this in one take, due to the fact that the last video we were going to do, and actually I'm going to need more hot water to mix. Yeah, that is a lot of honey that ended up getting left behind. So we're going to get that in there now. Didn't get this quite heated up as much as I wanted to, but that's okay. out of the way, we're going to take our sanitized silicone spoon and just kind of get that down. Get as much of that out as we can. Alright, we're going to put that in there. Set that out and we'll get more hot water here in just a second. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to stir that up. Now, why am I using a silicone spoon? The reason is this is a plastic fermenter. So you don't want to use metal because it can cause gouges, which means stuff can get stuck in there and your sanitizer might not be able to get to any bacteria that gets stuck, which is definitely not what you want. Oh, this smells really nice in here right now, by the way. It just smells like honey and hibiscus, so it's very floral, very fruity, and of course very sweet smelling with the honey. Now, I do want to apologize for the fact that this will be a one take, due to the fact that obviously it might be a little bit longer and there might be some issues. Reason I'm doing a one take, if I didn't already say this, I think I may have, but I honestly do not remember, was I had some issues with the last Mead video I was going to do, in which broke it up into different parts and some of them ended up getting deleted due to some issues. And my editing software was just having all sorts of issues actually, getting it to do its thing. So that was an issue that we had. Doing it this way, I'll be able to edit it a little bit different, and that. Now, when you're in this stage, you kind of want to be a little bit rough with it, obviously not splashing it out and losing product, but you know what I mean. So anyway, that's going to go back into the star sand just so it doesn't stain my towel. I'm going to let this sit here. Now, it's sitting at well below the 1 gallon mark. So I don't want to put the blueberries in yet. And the reason I don't want to put the blueberries in yet is because I want this to be at 1 gallon with the honey and everything else before I put the blueberries in, so that we are actually getting a full 1 gallon out of this. And that is one benefit of using something like this, is it makes it a lot easier to do that when you're working with something like this. And of course we'll stir it again here in a minute, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get some more hot water, get the rest of this honey out of here, and get this up to 1 gallon, and then we'll throw in our blueberries, get everything mixed up, take our readings, and everything like that. So give me 1 second, I'm going to go grab some hot water. Cap back on the honey. Make sure it's on there all the way. Perfect. And that's still not quite at 1 gallon. It's still sitting probably 1 inch below it in here. So I'm going to get more hot water. I didn't think this through. water in a Smirnoff bottle. And that got us to just about 1 gallon. It might be slightly lower, but also my marking might have been slightly off. So that's sitting at right about a gallon, which is exactly where we wanted it to be. And now it's a little bit warmer in here, which of course is good. Set that off to the side as well. I'm gonna come back, stir it up some more. It is a very, very pretty color in here right now. Which of course you will see when we take the reading. Now, the one thing I have not gotten yet, which is a turkey baster, which I will be getting later this week. You might be wondering how I've been taking my readings without a way to easily put it into my hydrometer. First of all, I usually make these in bottles, and I don't put the yeast in until after I've taken my reading, because I don't pitch my yeast or hydrate my yeast most of the time. So, to be honest with you, what I do, and I'm not feeling any resistance. This appears to be mixed up, so we're going to keep stirring it for a little bit longer. It's usually in a bottle of some kind, so usually what I'll just end up doing is taking it and pouring it in before I have the yeast in there, and then get my reading. Throw my yeast in, and it's all good to go. Now we're just going to set that right there. Take our blueberries. Which of course also have some liquid to them. Because they were frozen. And we're just going to let that empty off into there. Get our 12 ounces of blueberries in. Booyah. Put that back in here. So now it is well above, it's actually not that far above the gallon mark now, so I am glad I added more water in. Theoretically that could end up diluting it a little bit, but in something like this, I'm less concerned about it. So everything here is looking really, really good though. It's a very nice, pretty color. Right back into there. Pull that over here. Now, because I added the solids in, this isn't going to go completely smoothly, but I will attempt. There will be an attempt. These, of course, were both sanitized, my hydrometer and my tube. Yep, that's spilling, so we're going to keep it over it. This whole thing was sanitized, so I'm not that concerned, but I'm trying to figure out how I can do this better. Alright, hold on. We're going to grab my other towel after I knock stuff over. There we go. I'm going to set it here. So anything that falls off will go there. Grab my spoon here. My hands have been sanitized, so I have no problem doing what I just did. I know some people might freak out, but I'm not that concerned. Everything was sanitized, it's fine. My hands have been reaching into the sanitizer to pull everything out, so it's fine. And I'm actually going to go ahead and re-dunk my hand just to get the juices off. In case anybody doesn't believe me. Or in case anybody has an issue. You know what I mean? Also, did not realize that this had gotten pushed in the way. I apologize for that. hand on the towel that's mildly soaked. Alright. What I really have to worry about here is getting solids up in here, which is not what I want to do. So yeah, if you're wondering, yeah, get a turkey baster, otherwise known as a wine thief in this particular instance. Now you only have to get it up to the point where your hydrometer is floating. Oops, sorry, picked up a blueberry there. Yeah. So once your hydrometer is floating, this part's pretty much done. My hydrometer is not yet floating. And now it is, which is exactly what we want. We're going to go ahead and we're going to stir this up just a little bit. Put that back in there. Booyah. Get this all taken care of. Set this over here. And yeah, we lost a little bit doing it this method. I just have not done what I need to do. So that's on me. Don't do it like I did, and you'll be fine. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and first of all find the right part of our hydrometer here. Huh. Alright, where that is sitting is currently lower than where I was expecting it to be, and I don't know where my other honey is. Huh. That's interesting. It's currently sitting at about 11. Yeah, 1.100, well, 1.104-ish. Which is not where we want it to be. We want it to be higher than that. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to add sugar to this instead of honey. So, I'll be right back. And yes, now we get to go through the process of filling this thing again. I don't have a problem doing that. Everything's sanitized. Some people freak out. Literally, star sand, dump my hand. I'll be right back with sugar. Yes, I touched something that's not sanitized. I'm about to sanitize my hand again before I actually start putting stuff in there. Don't worry. While putting my hand in there or touching things. Alright, we're going to throw in a cup of sugar. Keep this off to the side. Dunk my hand in the sanitizer. Okay. Now, if anybody's wondering, is it still technically a mead, which of course is a honey wine, if you use sugar? The answer is, technically it depends. If your main sweetener remains to be honey, then yes, it is still mead. If, however, your sugar ends up overdoing your honey, then that is just a wine. Which this would be more of a melomel because there's fruit involved. Which is just a fruit wine / mead. It's a melomel. This is a blueberry hibiscus melomel, technically speaking. Thankfully this is still warm enough that sugar dissolved pretty much right in, so that's not a big issue. Bloop. Bloop. Yoink. why I'm making noises. This is sticky. There's definitely sugar. Again, no, this is not the most effective way of doing this. And I'm very aware of that, but this is what I got. To be honest, I forgot to go pick up a turkey baster. Oh. Really gotta be careful not to pick up blueberries. Alright, if this does not show as high as I think it should, we're going to stir it again and make sure that sugar really is dissolved. I'm pretty sure it is. If it's not, though, that's going to be an issue, because I don't want to have to do this thing again. Alright, we're floating. Right? Yep. We are floating. It's just sticking to the sides. There we go. Aha. No longer sticking to the sides. Into the sanitizer you go. Go ahead and wipe that off. Okay. This is still not quite where I want it to be, but that cup added about 10 points. And where I want this to be is a little bit above 1120. So because I want this to be just a little bit above 1120, and I know that that last 1 cup of sugar we put it to where it is now at 110, or 1110, sorry. What we're going to do is we're just going to add another cup of sugar, which should have us exactly where we want to be. Now, does that make this a wine? No, because it was at 11, at 1.100. It was at 1.100 before we put sugar in. So basically, I put in enough honey for this size batch for it to be a full 100 points of sugar, basically, from the honey. And I've only put in 20 points worth of sugar from, pure white cane sugar, or whatever this is, white sugar. So we're going to mix that up. Now there are some residual sugars that are going to come out of those blueberries as this ferments. But like I said, I wanted this to be somewhere between 1120 and 1130. So we're going to mix that up. We're going to add just a little bit more sugar to it. Not a lot, just enough to give it a few extra points, about a half a cup. It's actually a little bit less than a half a cup. Boom. That should add about 25 points to this. So, now, if this is the first thing you've ever tried to ferment, I don't recommend doing that. I don't. Because it's very easy to get your math off, especially if you don't have a hydrometer. You can, 100%, if you just want to make wine, you don't care about what it comes out to, you don't care about any of that, your best bet to do is to take your fermenter. If it's a gallon, throw in 3 pounds of honey, throw in your yeast, and go with it. And it should come out between 11, 13-ish%, depending on what yeast you're using. Use a wine yeast that goes to about 14% and you'll be good. It might come out dry, at which point, add a little bit of honey back. Not a lot, but a little bit of honey back. Just sweeten as you go. You know what I mean? Sweeten as you go. Now here in a couple of weeks when this is done, which I want to point out, this is, what is today? Today is December 13th. I'm probably not going to really check on this much until, who knows, probably 1st, 2nd, the 3rd of January. That's 3 weeks from now. I might, check airlock, things like that. But that's really all I'm going to do. I'm going to let this go for 4 weeks. I might check it every now and then just to make sure that the blueberries look normal, that they're not rotting in there, because that is a thing you want to be careful of. I'm going to set that in the sanitizer water, and my hands are sticky, so we're gonna sanitize that again. Booyah. Get them dried off. Now, this smells really good. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take one cinnamon stick. I don't know why it comes with this lid on there. Cinnamon sticks don't fit through that. We're gonna take a single cinnamon stick, kind of stir that around, and bloop it on in there. Now the cinnamon stick is gonna be in there for probably 3 weeks until I go ahead and check on this, and then I will sanitize my hands and take it out, or I'll leave it in there for all of fermentation. With this batch, I'm really not that concerned about it. For the yeast, like I said, about 3/4 of a packet, just because I don't feel like measuring all that much, but 3/4 of a packet. We're gonna sprinkle that on there. Also, if you're wondering why this was 3/4 of a packet, I used a 1/4 packet to restart my other Mead because it had slowed. And we're just going to agitate that a little bit. And there you go. Yeast starts getting down in there, and you're good to go. Alright, now what's going to happen, I'm going to go ahead, I'm actually going to stir it, that's what I'm going to do, because some of that yeast is clumping up. So I'm going to stir that again just to make sure all the yeast gets down in there, add a little bit more oxygen. That's better. Broke up the majority of the clumps. Now, I'm going to go ahead, put the lid on here with the airlock already engaged and filled with sanitizer solution as well. There we go. So, yeah. That's a decent airlock. I don't use this airlock much due to the fact that it doesn't really do what I need it to do in the others. Hold on. We're having some issues with the airlock. Like I said, haven't used this one much, so any issues I have with it, that doesn't look right. What the hell? There we go. That was weird. Yeah, I mean, I've just gotten just a hair too much sanitizer in there. And now it's not wanting to sit right. Okay, there we go. It's rising normally. Yeah, that was weird that what I just did, but this thing's coated in sanitizer solution. I really don't do what I just did, but for the sake of this, I don't have a problem doing it. This is something I'm going to be enjoying mostly by myself. I know, there's a lot here. It's going to be a while before this gets drank, though. But anyway, so yeah, this is now going to go sit where I ferment it for probably 4 weeks. Then we'll check it, I'll do a check with the hydrometer and everything. If it's not done, it'll sit for more time. If it is done, you'll see an update video where I'll go ahead and do the rack. After it's racked, we'll go into doing, bottling and everything from there, which I'm going to go ahead and get some stuff ordered to make racking this a little bit easier. Not that I don't have an auto siphon, I do have an auto siphon, but I got to order a big enough container so that this can actually do what it needs to do. So I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I apologize for the length of this being the first video, but I hope you found it entertaining. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoy something similar to this if you decide to make it. But until then, remember to be prepared, be as self-sufficient as possible, I mean, that is really the whole purpose of this channel, is teaching you guys how to be self-sufficient, in that you can make your own wine, you can grow your own food, you can raise chickens, you know how to defend yourself with firearms or whatever you have available to you. So I hope you guys have a good one. I'll see you guys in the next one.